Americans 12 and older should be able to start getting updated booster shots for COVID within days. That is after the CDC and the FDA gave approval this week to new boosters from Pfizer and Moderna that will hopefully provide more protection against the latest variant this coming winter. For the latest questions around this and more, I'm joined again by Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's the president's chief medical advisor and the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Dr. Fauci, welcome back to the NewsHour. So with the news that these new vaccines, boosters are now going to be available, there's understandable confusion out there about who should get them and when. Is there a clear, simple rule of thumb that people should follow?
Well, if you look at the eligible, who is essentially approved by authorization and recommended by the CDC, it's just what you said, that for the Pfizer, it's 12 years of age and older, and for the Moderna, it's 18 years of age and older. The need for it clearly varies considerably depending upon one's risk. There would be certainly a greater benefit if you were an elderly person or a person who has an underlying condition. If you're a young, healthy person, the relative differential of the benefit might be less, but there would be a degree of benefit essentially for everyone. So the need to get it would certainly be weighted heavily towards those who have underlying conditions, who are elderly. But that doesn't mean that there's not some degree of advantage for anyone within the framework that the FDA approved and that the CDC recommended.
And what about the guideline, Dr. Fauci, in terms of how long to wait after one's most recent shot or booster or after one's had COVID?
Well, after as the FDA had mentioned, and the CDC also, is that when you're talking about when your last shot was, you need to wait at least 8 weeks or 2 months. When you're dealing with a prior infection, you should wait about 3 months, if at least 3 months from the time that you had a prior infection. I myself am in that category, and that's exactly what I'm going to follow. I was vaccinated, doubly boosted, but I got infected towards the middle and end of June. So I'm looking forward to getting the updated BA.5 variant vaccine, and I'm going to wait 3 months, so that'll put me somewhere around the late part and end of September.
We noticed, Dr. Fauci, that one of the members of the CDC panel that voted to approve these new vaccines, said he voted against it, among other things, because he said it has not been studied in humans. Should that give anyone pause?
I don't think so at all, for the following reason. Vaccines that were in the same general category as the BA.5 bivalent, which was a BA.1 bivalent, has pretty good information that we've got. And they are so similar that the idea that there's going to be any special difference, I think, is such a far fetch. When you think about the experience of this platform, namely vaccines that are the mRNA expressing a certain insert, we have billions of doses that have been given to people. So it's treated very much like the strain change that you would treat during the influenza decision about giving a new strain of a vaccine to individuals without extensive testing. So we feel pretty comfortable that when you look at the totality of the data and the experience, it's not something that I am concerned about.
I think it's fair to say that the success of these boosters is going to depend a lot on how widely they are accepted, how many people get them. At the same time, we are in a period where the country's, if you will, vaccine delivery system has been scaled back from what it was. And there are now questions about why that is. The administration is saying they didn't have the congressional funding, which then raises the question, should the administration have done more to, to move funds around so that as long as this COVID is the threat that it is, that there is an easier ability for Americans to get the vaccine. How do you see that?
Yeah, I see that we need to do the best we can. And that's the reason why you've heard us, several of us, as part of the team, the White House and HHS team, saying why we need to have the continuation of the resources and the funding that are necessary for us to optimize our response. There's only a certain amount that you could move around from other programs without significantly negatively impacting those programs. So the federal government is purchasing 171 million doses that we will make available free to people. And certainly we want to make sure we make it in an equitable manner so that the distribution is clear, so that anyone has equal opportunity to get that vaccine.
So your point is that the administration has done everything it can to move money around to get that vaccine available.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I mean, obviously you can always look and see, can you take it from here or take it from there? But there's always the danger of seriously negatively impacting the programs from which you take that money. And that's the reason why we need to have continued support. The Congress has been very generous up to this point with us, so there's no complaint about that. But looking ahead for the challenges that we have, we do need continued support with more resources.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the President's Chief Medical Advisor, we thank you very much.
Thank you. Good to be with you.